afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jim Fox. I am the special magistrate that has been appointed to hear this case. So we have a number of people here. Before we hear the case, I'd just like to say a little bit about decorum during this quasi-judicial proceeding. I was having a conversation the other day with Judge Magnus, and I don't know if you know who he is, but he is the sometimes federal judge in Fort Myers. He has senior status. And the thing about Judge Magnuson is he has helped 44 countries set up their judicial processes. 44. Because our judicial processes are the envy of the world. And they work because of this unique system that we have developed for trying to get at the truth. I'm going to try my very best to do that here today, and I'm going to ask you to be respectful of this process that is so unique and is such a wonderful part of our American tradition. What that means is no talking, no sneering, no chewing of gum. Please try to maintain respect for the process, for the people who are presenting their cases. Even if you disagree or don't like something, that is not going to influence my decision. And so if you will please do that, I think it will be a good day for all of us. Having said that, I'm going to call the case. There is not a case number. This is the case of Ian McGuire, petitioner, versus Charlotte County, respondent before the special magistrate in N4, Collier County, Florida. Let's have appearances.
Derek Rooney, Ray Robinson Law Firm, on behalf of Charlotte County. I'm joined by Corporal Blighter from the Sheriff's Department.
Mr. Rooney, nice to see you again.
Mr. McGuire.
Mr. McGuire, nice to see you. You're not represented by counsel here?
No, I'm
All
not.
right. Here's what I would like to do, unless we have some preliminary matters.
I have no objection to recording, but I would prefer, so that's not a distraction from the proceedings, if we could go back to the rule that you enforced on Tuesday, which is one location in the back.
I agree with that. That's sufficient to have a press pool camera. So
I would object, sir. This is my hearing, and I would like to make sure that it's documented for, my own reasons, obviously.
I'm going to overrule your objection, sir. I understand. One camera, and if we need to take a recess so you all can get it set up in the back, I'm happy to do that. But that's what we're going to do here today. I have an order from the Chief Judge concerning that, and that's what we're going to do. Is it necessary to take a recess?
I would like one to confer with some other people.
Take as much time as you need, sir.
That's right. Make sure to get faces.
So, any other preliminary matters?
Yes, sir. I would like to bring up Gideon versus Wainwright. I noticed there was no option to have counsel like appointed for me, since I'm indigent. And it's my understanding that the county hires him because he's an expert in law. And I am not an expert in law, but I would like to be represented by an attorney because this involves taking away civil liberties from me to visit public places and potentially put me in situations to be arrested.
Sir, as I understand Gideon versus Wainwright, that is a case that pertains to assistance of counsel with respect to the deprivation of your liberty for criminal acts, not for civil acts. Trespass is in civil, and therefore there isn't a right to court-appointed and county-paid for counsel. if you would like to request a recess so that you can see if you can get an attorney and have one on.
Like I said, like I'm indigent and don't have the means to pay for one. I don't have the $1,500 that was previously paid by another person that was trespassed by the county.
I understood that, sir. There are multiple ways to obtain counsel. There's a legal services society that will do things for free. There are counsels such as myself who have a certain number of pro bono hours that we do for the bar and for persons in the interests of justice. So are you requesting a continuance in order to obtain counsel, or do you prefer to proceed today?
I'm going to try to represent myself as best as that I can.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. Any more?
Only one other item. I provided yourself with a binder and a copy of everything in the binder to Mr. McGuire. It's just copies of the evidence the county intends to add, as well as some reference materials, including the special magistrate code sections.
Very good. Thank you, counsel. All right. Then here's how we're going to proceed. I'd like to have just a very brief opening statement from each of you to tell me what the evidence will show and what you're asking me to do. Let's start with the petitioner, who's Mr. McGuire. We'll then hear from the respondent, which is Charlotte County. And then after that, we will ask each side to put on their evidence. I would, although normally what happens in these situations is that the petitioner goes first, I would suggest that it might be, Mr. McGuire, in your interest to let, in terms of the case in chief, to let the respondent go first so you can see what it is that they're claiming. That will give you, in my estimation, a better chance to respond to that and defend the case that's being made, but that's certainly up to you as to how you...
I was just thinking the same thing, Your Honor.
Okay, very good.
I thought that's how it went in the first place.
We had two learned counsel there that makes it a lot easier, so I just want to make sure that I'm okay, that you're okay with the way we're proceeding, okay?
Yeah, I would love to see his, that so-called, evidence against me.
Okay, well, we will do that then. And in light of that, then, how about if we have county go first with their opening statement, and then you can respond to that as well? Is that okay with you?
Sure.
All right, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to remain seated.
Yes, certainly.
I'm here on behalf of Charlotte County, seeking to uphold the county's trespass order against Mr. McGuire. Mr. McGuire was trespassing the county's mid-county library facility at 2050 Forest Nelson Boulevard, Fort Charlotte, on October 27th by Corporal Roland Lytle of the Sheriff's Department for violating county facility rules as well as the Florida Election Code. Specifically, over the course of 2 days, October 26th and 27th, Mr. McGuire at the Mid-County Library and within designated early voting facilities attempted to enter and record in violation of section 102.031, which prohibits the entry of non-election staff or voters into polling places, as well as prohibiting photography. Additionally, failing to observe lawful orders of election staff, Mr. McGuire engaged in disruptive and harassing behavior with election staff and voters and patrons of the library in violation of the county's facility rules numbers 1, 6, 9, and 14. Copies of those rules, as well as the trespass order, are in the first tab of your binder, and the first items in your packet. And the third tab also contains a copy of section 102 from the 031 from the Florida Elections Code. You also have that as well. That concludes my opening statement.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. McGuire. Mr. McGuire.
Yes, sir. I did go to the library on those days. As a member of the media, I have, as one of my exhibits, a press pass for my YouTube channel. I was filming there. I don't understand how I disrupted or harassed anyone. Several individuals, approached me and began yelling and telling me to leave and whatnot. I also have, as part of my evidence, a decision from the 11th Circuit, Smith versus Cummings. Let me give that to you. And there's another one in there, McDonough versus Rundle, which basically, establishes that it's a First Amendment right to document what public officials do on public property and and collect matters of public interest, which is what I was there doing. I was documenting the election process. At no point did I enter the polling place, which is what I understand would be a violation of the election law. I merely photographed from a public viewpoint, like in the hallway and on the exterior, like of the library. And I would also like to object to being trespassed by Corporal Blighter, because it's my understanding that through the county ordinance that it has to be authorized through the Board of County Commissioners. I don't understand his authorization to sign off on their trespass paperwork. He's not Ray, I'm sorry, I might mispronounce your names, Ray Baraka, or what's the other lady? Kathy Shoemaker?
Ray Sandrock or Kelly Shoemaker.
There you go.
Have you provided these cases to counsel for them?
I'm not aware of the McDonald's case. I am familiar with Smith versus Cummings.
I understand it was my responsibility to provide him the paperwork for his case against me.
Okay, so that is the requirement that if you were going to share something with the court, that you also provide it to the opposing party, either personally or...
I wasn't aware of the discovery process or how to do that. Like I said, sir, I'm not an expert at law. That's why he's hired by the county, because he's an expert at law. He knows how to do all these things.
Do you understand that now, sir?
I understand it now.
Thank you. Counsel, for the record, it's an 11th Circuit Court of Appeals case, McDonough versus Catherine Fernandez Rundle. The only citation I see for it is the court citation of case number 15-14642, July 12, 2017, and I will let you take a look at my copy. Anything else, Mr. McGuire?
That's it so far.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
This case appears to be with regard to state wiretapping laws. I don't believe that that is anything that the county's charged us with.
I agree with you, Counsel.
And with respect to Smith versus Cummings, very briefly, it does provide that that members of the public, members of the press may record video, in that case police officers, which are public officials, in the performance of their duties in matters of public interest. In these situations, we're specifically talking about members of the public who are going into, not public officials who are going in to vote, which is a more private activity and is not something that is a matter for the general public.
Question. Is it not within the public interest to document the election process?
Mr. McGuire, I do not see anything in Smith that suggests that reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions on First Amendment activities, including the press, trump laws designed to protect our election process, regardless of who you are. Are you suggesting that this case somehow does that?
I believe it protects my right to document these people as they work for the public as polling officials, and collecting the information about them, and do my media story that I publish on YouTube, which shows how they disrupt the First Amendment, create arguments with people, tell you about laws that don't really apply in these circumstances, and then call police if you trespass to deny you the right to come to a public place. I think that is definitely within the scope of the public interest. Make them aware of these situations.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'd first like to add County's Exhibit number 1, which is a video downloaded from Mr. McGuire's YouTube channel. It pertains to the events of October 26th. Is there any objection from Mr. McGuire?
No, I'd love to see the video.
Without objection, calling this exhibit 1.
Yes. All of the videos or any other materials we have that are electronic are in a disc. So we can add that as a composite exhibit 1 and deal with each individual item as it comes up.
Thank you.
Where's that?
No, it is not allowed. It is not allowed.
Please don't touch me,
You
ma'am.
need to leave the building.
Why?
I know who you are. You need to leave the
Who
building.
am I?
Please leave. You are not allowed to be in here with the camera.
It says who?
It's a law.
It is?
Yes,
It's people's privacy, and they have to leave
yes.
alone to vote.
How are you?
You working for a news company?
Oh, there's not?
Earlier today, we had a big line, all day long. You want to stand back here a minute till I tell people that you're clear?
That's not allowed.
We can't have it, cameras in
It's
the
not allowed.
public place.
No.
Where's that?
No, it is not allowed. It is not allowed.
Please don't touch me,
You
ma'am.
need to leave the building. I
Why?
know who you are. You need to leave the
Who
building.
am I?
Please leave. You are not allowed to be in here with the camera.
It says who?
It's a law.
I'll get
It
you.
is?
Yes,
It's people's privacy, and they have to leave
yes.
alone to vote.
Paul,
Yes.
this gentleman needs to be escorted out.
Okay. Thank you. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Fine, we need to leave
Why do I need to leave?
because they don't want you on this property.
There's
Oh.
no photography allowed in the polling place.
Well, this is a public library.
There's no photography allowed in the polling place.
Well, that's nice.
How's my teeth?
It's good.
Good. Who are you working with?
I'm not working with anyone. You know who you should talk to? That Mr. Stromless guy and see about that new photography.
I don't need to talk to anybody. If my clerk says she don't want you here, she don't want you here.
Well, she's not God, is she?
Well, no, neither are you. Are you?
Maybe.
Because I filled with power.
I might be. Like I said, I just want to take pictures in public. I don't understand why that's illegal.
You're not allowed to make photography in the polling place.
I think you can't campaign in a polling place, man. I'm pretty sure that I
Well,
can.
you're right about that too.
There's
So
no
you-
I'm pretty sure that I can film
So
it.
you only got half of that.
So thank you. So thank you. You guys are so intelligent.
Thank you. I've never been accused of that.
You want to go on behind the sign?
Ma'am, I'm not campaigning. I already explained that.
I don't care, but you want to go on back behind the signs because we have people coming in.
No thanks. It's a public place. It's a public library.
Yeah, but it's also a voting place. This is,
It's also my taxpayer paid for library that I'd like to use
yeah, but
and
you
record
see-
things.
You see the signs for people to be soliciting?
How am I soliciting?
You're not
You
using
aren't.
the library,
You're not
sir.
using them.
You're trying to infringe upon voters.
Oh, I am?
Yes.
How?
You're not allowed to do
How am I
certain things.
infringing on them by recording you outside? Can you tell me?
No. Okay.
Oh, did you call on me? Did you call the police? Oh, the big savers. Feel safe now, buddy?
I do.
Excuse me, sir, I'd like to go in this public building.
Okay.
You gonna stand there and block my way?
I'm just standing here.
Is there a reason you want to come in with a camera?
Yes, there is.
What? For?
Are you going to the library?
I would like to document what public officials do on public property and collect matters of public interest.
Well, why don't you wait a few minutes and the police will be here and they can escort you in.
Because I'd like to come see it now. Thank you. Would you please get out of my way, sir, so I can come in?
You going to the library?
Sure.
They'll
Sure.
want you to turn it off, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll find that out, too.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Feels good. Waiting for a lady out there. What do you say, Mr. McGuire? How you doing over there?
Good, man. How are you? Did they call you here because of me?
Thank you.
Huh?
You're not recording them, are you?
I am.
My friend suggests you to take us off your list because I won't press charges.
What?
Do take us off. You need to remove us from that.
Thank you. We got the police.
Why don't you just wait for us and say something?
Let's tell the police. I sure will. Come on.
You're gonna go tell the police on me?
Yes, I will.
What did I do?
Violation.
I did a violation of what?
You're violating my rights to my children's friends.
How?
Excuse me. Right there. Exactly.
Yeah, this is a public place.
Actually,
from
it's actually happening in there. I'm walking out and he's harassing and I feel.
How did I harass you, man?
Because
How did I harass you?
and it's illegal.
Just here, we'll go outside. Yeah. He's every right to videotape.
You guys hear that? I have a right to videotape, so why are we calling cops on people? Why are we doing that? Trying to block doors? Oh, also, officer, before you go, excuse me, deputy? What's your name, sir?
Egress.
The lady in the right over there, I would like to press charges for battery. She grabbed my hand and tried to take my camera, and I have that on film.
Where was this at?
Down in the hall, I was recording, and the lady in the red down there grabbed my arm and tried to take my camera from me. She's inside of the polling place.
Let me see if I can talk with her.
Thank you.
She had no consent to touch me, sir.
Excuse us. Thank you.
You guys want to talk about law? We'll learn some law here today, won't we?
He's the journal. But he starts taking pictures. Don't, I don't want. And he kept pursuing.
Yeah, it's a public place, dude.
Take a picture.
You can record in a public place, don't you understand? Go read a law book. Go read a law book. Go wasting his time.
We're not wasting his time.
Yes, you are. You're wasting his time.
You want me to talk with you said Reddy?
Yes, she grabbed my hand and tried to take my camera. That's battery, sir.
What color hair does she have?
Red, I can point her out to you.
With this camera.
Yeah, come down the hallway.
Back once you know you can't videotape back in this area.
I'm not going to record the polling place. I did not record the polling place. But this hall is a public access.
Where did this
Right here by this bench.
Right here?
It's not illegal. It's a public place.
Yeah, but-
Why don't you understand?
I understand. I don't think you understand.
I don't think you do. She did it to me right here, sir.
Yeah, no, I just thought she was right here. Okay. Good. Doing well, sir. I mean,
Wonderful, good.
Miss Julie, can I talk to you someplace?
Who is this woman?
Yes.
I prefer to someone. Yeah. I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable.
Tell them how you grabbed me.
I'm sorry. Oh. Okay. Yeah. We'll do that. Okay. Oh, all right.
you, and then go stand over there, please. Right? You know how this rolls. This isn't.
I'll do you the favor, man. I'm not gonna go too far.
Well, dude, you know how this works. They're filing a complaint. I have a right to talk to them, and you're not.
I'll stand over here. I'm not interfering with your investigation.
Well, you are by videotaping your statement, so you can go back inside, or you can shut it off and get a statement on. So you pick. You know what you're allowed to do, but you can't.
She's out in public. And if you want a private statement, you can take her in her vehicle, over there and get one. I haven't done shit.
Again, I'm going to ask you one more time.
How far back do you want me, man?
You can go far away so you don't hear our statement. You have the right to film, but I also can have you leave when I'm conducting an investigation. And if you don't, you know what happens from that point.
Are you giving me like a lawful order?
I'm asking you to go as far away as possible. So if you want to go inside so we can't hear us talk, that's fine. If you want to go stand over there by the white SUV, sure, go over there. But they're making a complaint, and I'm going to take the complaint right here. I'm not going to go inside and disturb voting. So you can either go inside or you're going to have to leave, and then when I'm done, you come back over.
If you're giving me like a lawful order, then I'll comply.
Yes, I am. Just let me take the
Okay, I'll go inside then. But I will be filing like a complaint against you, sir.
That's why I'm doing what?
Yourself, ma'am?
Right now, I'm waiting for the other deputy to come in so he can do a statement, or a statement from you as well.
Okay.
Based on what you told us.
I have everything on video. I know it's the same format card that fits your laptops.
Oh, like SD cards?
Yeah. So I'm not sure what kind of storytelling.
Would you be able to pull that, like, so that we can download that and so I can?
Yeah, you can watch it, man. Because I would like to see her come up. I'm standing about right here. So the lady in red comes up, grabs my hand, and tries to put her hand in front of the camera and take the camera from me. And I told her, I said, ma'am, don't touch me. I don't want to be touched by you. And then this guy came up here like he had some kind of authority. And to tell me that I had to leave the building and all this.
I didn't say that.
So, I hope you guys didn't tell this deputy some kind of stories because I got it all on film.
Does that camera take film?
Sure does. It records everything you do.
While you're doing that, I'm going to walk over here and talk to him.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I just want to understand why I can't record you from a distance, man. If you're taking a statement, you're not public.
You're allowed to. It's just we don't
understand that,
that close to so you can hear her statement. We have that right. You know that. I mean,
if you're interviewing her out in public and I'm at a distance like this and I can hear her.
It's all about putting a sign that says, "I have the right to film in public."
Well, you know what's better than that?
People might not bother you. You know what I mean?
You know what's better than that, dude? Is when you film them and then they call you and then you guys tell them that.
Yeah, but it's a waste of resources.
Well, maybe the public should be more aware of what laws are.
I mean, hey, I'm
right,
a taxpayer,
man?
you're a taxpayer, we're all paying.
Take this out, man. Why is there 2 cops here for this nonsense?
Policy have disturbance between 2 officers. That's our policy.
Well, they shouldn't be calling anyone for someone videotaping in a public place.
I agree with it, like you
know
said.
that. If someone calls, you gotta know, right?
Why is, well, that can be something violent, stuff like that. That's different.
For any reason, but
guy with camera here recording people. You know, I don't know, man.
I know, but unfortunately, that's not what the people are calling us.
I just, you know,
it's what it is.
I just don't understand it. People's ignorance is not my responsibility. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Do you know a judge told me that one time?
Which judge?
I think it was Bell, I'm not sure. A while ago, man. I was like 18, 19. Check that out, man. So I took that to heart. So, you know, it's a two-way street. If my ignorance is not an excuse, there shouldn't be either. Check it out. What do you think?
Alright, well, these gentlemen here are going to take over what your report was. I'm going to turn over what you told me and speak to this deputy.
I got the SD card, man. Just about done after this little complaint I'm doing.
Alright, well, because we're going to obviously need to see that, so I can't download it. I can at least take it for evidence, if you're willing to give you that.
Taking my vid?
The card, because I don't have to download that onto the hard drive.
You just
maybe pull it up, maybe like a CD. I don't have, this is a car, so it's not a...
You have a laptop in there, don't you?
There's no hard drive, I mean, there's no CD or anything like that. That's what you're asking.
Well, what do you do when you go to Walmart and someone stole shit?
Provide it.
Oh, they give you a burnt copy?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Stop here filming.
Okay. Is it okay if I talk to one of my coworkers without any approached on by you?
You're in the public.
Yeah, I know,
anyway.
and so are you. So, you mind backing up so I can talk to my coworker, please?
I'm not stopping you from doing it. Just want to document what public officials do on public property, that's all. Why are we so secretive? I mean, I do. I mean, you know, I definitely have some questions about what you said to me. Because I was at least, I want to say 15, 20 feet from you.
Can you hear someone that's talking when they're 15 feet away? I know your camera sure can.
But you guys are out in public. If you want to get a
But we can't
statement,
go inside, they're voting.
you could have taken her to the conference room in there. You could take her inside of your vehicle and get a statement. If you don't want to make it public, then don't.
You want to take her inside?
Ma'am, I'm not an official here. I'm just a private citizen taking videos on public property. Myself.
So why are you filming?
Because the First Amendment says I have a right to.
Well, yeah, I mean, why? Well, I know you have a right.
Well, why is a very long and complicated story, sir.
Okay,
But just know I do it in the best interest of the public.
okay,
I try to raise public awareness.
okay.
Guys, quit calling cops for every little thing that goes on.
Well, I didn't call.
Anybody on,
Not if you're out in a public place, ma'am.
so you can put me on Facebook?
Or
without my
YouTube
permission?
or anything. Yeah, I don't need it. We're starting to get a party going.
See that, man? How you doing?
Good, man.
Good, good. How you doing?
Good, good.
Good, good.
You alright there, man?
I'm great, man.
You in self as this?
Yes, I am.
I'm gonna stand behind this thing. What I do is cheat sheet.
Why did you grab me for filming in a public place, ma'am? You grabbed me, ma'am. Sure did.
I did not look at your video.
Sure did. You grabbed my hand, tried to take my camera. Sure did. Why did you do that? Why don't you admit when you're wrong?
I do admit that.
You want me to burn? Well, boy, you don't want to get on that cross, do you? You ashamed of yourself.
You guys take care. All right.
Have a good day, buddy.
Ian, you take care, man. Try not to aggravate the world.
I'm not.
You sure?
I'm not aggravating it.
Hey, it's all fogged up, kid.
Close enough to the camera there, bud?
Are you in the paper?
Well, sort of.
Yeah, you make the paper a lot.
Guys, have a good time. Hey, when am I going to get to talk to the supervisor guy about that distance thing and all that shit? I see him trying to walk off over there. Because I was trying to film him take a statement, and he said I couldn't do that. See, I don't get to talk to my supervisor today. Look at this. Wow. Okay.
At this time, if there's no objection, I'd like to call Corporal Blighter to the stand.
Corporal called to the stand.
your right hand. Swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I swear so, yeah.
Have a seat, sir.
Good afternoon, Corporal Lytle. Corporal, what is your role at the Sheriff's Office?
I'm a supervisor over in District 2 area.
Okay, and what is the Mid-County Library, I'm assuming is within District 2?
Yes,
You issued the trespass order in this case, is that correct?
I did.
What authority do you have to issue a trespass order?
I'm designated by the county. The statute actually says county commissioners or designees of the county commissioners, and I'm a designee of the county commissioners to issue trespass on public property by county ordinance.
Now, you were not present on October 26th, the day this video was filmed.
Correct. We had just, that was the oncoming night shift. We had just gone off shift when that took place.
Okay. I don't have a video for the 26th, until the 27th. Can you describe for me and the court what the events of the 27th were that led you up to issuing this trespass?
We got a complaint about Mr. Sheets causing disturbance on county property, specifically at the early voting polling area. And so when I responded, Deputy Campbell and I responded to that area. Andrew Sheets, we didn't see him when we first pulled up. He looked across the parking lot, he got in his car and he tried to leave before we got to talk to him. I was able to stop him in his car, spoke to him. I issued him a trespass at that time, at which point he called Mr. McGuire on the telephone and told him he was being trespassed, and then he called him up to come to the library and take his place, start filming. I don't know what the reason for it was exactly, but so he commenced to tell me when he was on the phone that he was calling his friend Ian and he'd be there in a minute. So about that time, I notified the watch commander, who's the lieutenant on duty, what was going on and what was happening on the phone. And in between that time that Mr. Sheets was issued his trespass, and I was on the phone with my lieutenant, Mr. McGuire showed up, and then he began videotaping, and another confrontation ensued with a voter. And again, he went in and attempted to film inside the polling area, which by county ordinance is not allowed against county ordinance and federal law to film inside a polling place. And so he was subsequently issued a trespass by Anna Lopez. Anna Lopez withdrew her trespass because they allowed me, since I was there, to issue the trespass in lieu of Anna Lopez.
In the trespass order, I'm going to hand you a copy. Mr. Laura, you have a copy of your materials, and this is in tab 1. I've actually tabbed it with a little red flag, so it's easier for you to find. Thank you. You indicated, Corporal Lytle, that there were 4 county facility rules that were in violation.
Yes, sir.
Could you read off each of those rules, the number of the rule, and what the alleged violation is?
I checked Rule 1, which is engaging in activity prohibited by law, which would have been filming inside the polling place, inside the actual voting place. Solicitation of petitions, pamphleteering, demonstrating, also Block 6, rather. Demonstrating and protesting anywhere inside county buildings or conveyances or in areas where such activities are otherwise prohibited on county lands. However, these activities may be done in an orderly manner and without harassment to employees, public, outside of the entryway of any county-owned building, on any public sidewalk or public right-of-way near or adjacent to any county-owned building, or in areas otherwise designated for express activity. Rules governing citizen conduct during public meetings of the Board of County Commissioners can be found Section 5.02 of the Administrative Code, Section 1.12, available online at charlottecountyflorida.gov. I also checked Block 9, disruptive, harassing, or unsafe behavior, including conduct which intentionally interferes with employees in the performance of their duties or intentionally interferes with the proper use of county facility by others. And I also checked Block 14, failure to cease conduct specifically prohibited in items 1 through 13 above.
Corporal Lytle, the first facility rule you cited was engaging in any activity prohibited by law. I'm going to hand you a section 102.031 of the Florida Elections Code. That's in the third tab of your binder and at the back of your package, Mr. McGuire.
Counsel, is that section 102.031?
31, yes. And specifically, Corporal Lytle, I'd like you to read subsection 3 from that code section.
Subsection 3A, no person may enter any polling room or polling place where the polling place is also a polling room or any early voting area during voting hours except the following: official poll watchers, inspectors, elections clerk, supervisor of elections or his or her deputy, persons there to vote, persons in the care of a voter, or persons caring for such a voter, law enforcement officers or emergency service personnel, or a person whether or not registered to vote who is participating in a simulated election for minors as approved by the supervisor of elections.
Okay, and Corporal Lytle, does it say anything in there that a member of the public who is not a voter may enter into that facility?
No, sir.
Okay, and do you believe that Mr. McGuire was there to vote on October 27th?
He was not.
Okay. You also indicated that, oh, I apologize. Could you turn to the next page of that statute and read off subsection 5?
Subsection 5, the same statute. No photography is permitted in the polling room or early voting area.
Now you also checked off county facility rule number 9, which you have that with you.
Yes, sir.
Discussing intentionally harassing or disrupting activity.
Disruptive behavior, yes, sir.
From your personally witnessed events on October 27th, was the appellant involved in intentional disruptive behavior and intentional harassing behavior?
Yes, sir. Not only was he involved in disruptive behavior, but he came there with the intent to disrupt, based on Andrew Sheets' phone call.
With regards to facility rule number 14, failing to cease prohibited rule 1 through 13 after being requested to do so, from what you witnessed on October 27th, did Mr. McGuire fail to adhere to commands or orders to cease those activities that were disruptive?
Yes, he argued with the polling. He argued with the elections deputies and officials that were on site, asking him to stop.
At this time, Your Honor, I have no more questions. If you would like to prosecute.
I have some. You don't mind if I use that paper you got in there?
Absolutely.
So, Corporal Lytle. So at what point did I actually enter inside of the polling room?
You went in and went down the hallway while I was on the phone.
Excuse me, Corporal, Mr. Lytle, would you please, Corporal Lytle, would you please hold off for a second? Mr. McGuire, will you please take your seat for examining witness? Thank you.
Okay. So now, was I in the hallway or was I inside of the polling room?
You were out front, you were in front of the hallway, and you went down the hallway to the door of the polling area, videotaping inside.
But did I actually enter into the polling area?
Inside the door? No, you attempted to and were stopped. But you continued to tape inside.
I don't recall ever trying to enter that room.
The lady you said committed a battery stopped you from going in.
Okay. And in regards to not doing what they asked me to stop doing, now, from what I understand, it is lawful to record in a public place, correct?
I assume so.
So, if they're asking me to cease a lawful activity, do I have to stop doing that?
If there's restrictions, which there are, on that particular activity, yes.
Inside of the polling room, correct?
Yes.
Or
taping inside the polling room. You were taping inside the polling room.
From what I read in the statute, that applies inside of the polling area, where people are actually voting. Is that correct?
That's a matter of interpretation.
Man, okay, so I never did anything. Now, number 6, can you explain how I solicited petitions or pamphleteering or demonstrated or protested?
You were protesting not being allowed inside the polling area. And that was just evidenced by the film we just watched for 20 minutes.
Protesting by telling them that I had a right to be there. And
Not
these,
leaving like you were asked.
these individuals approached me, right?
They were they were at their appointed place of duty. You approached them.
Yes.
From what I recall, from what I saw, I believe I was approached first in these situations.
That's your opinion.
Okay. Let's see. And how was I being disrupting and harassing and doing unsafe behaviors?
Well, you used foul language. You provoked people. You were provocative. You continued to.
How did I provoke
You were closer than you should have been to people.
How did I
with your
provoke
camera?
them?
It's aggressive. You were being aggressive, just like when you just approached the table just now.
I was aggressive with you when I approached the
It's
table?
an aggressive action.
Oh. Okay.
To be in somebody's personal space, right?
I don't think I was aggressive when I just approached you.
You're
I think
right.
that's another one of your interpretations.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm giving you a great deal of leeway, but the purpose of cross-examination is to ask a question and get an answer, not to argue with the witness or state your case. You'll have the opportunity to do it at the end, sir. I am going to give you some leeway, but please try to refrain from arguing with the officers to ask your questions and put the evidence on and then move on if you would.
Okay. Now, if I understand correctly, Ms. Lopez rescinded the trespass?
Yes.
And you decided you would go ahead and issue one?
Yes.
And why was one also not issued to Mr. Sheets?
One was issued to Mr. Sheets.
It was rescinded.
By the sheriff's office. I had nothing to do with that.
Would you agree that there seemed to be a lot of anger towards me that day?
No.
No? Okay. All right. I don't think I have anything else for Corporal out of there.
Okay. Is there any regret?
I do have some regret. And I apologize, this is not a document that I produced previously, but I will give it to the appellant and to the court. This is section 97.021. This is for the elections code. This is the definitional section. Could you read for me subsection 27 there?
Definition of a polling place is the building which contains polling room where ballots are cast. Definition of polling room means the actual room in which ballots are cast on election day and during early voting.
Ask you to read one more section for me, which is subsection 10 and 11.
Subsection 10, early voting area, means the area designated by the supervisor of elections at an early voting site at which early voting activities occur, including, but not limited to, lines of voters waiting to be processed, the area where voters check in and are processed, and the area where voters cast their ballots. Subsection 11, early voting site, means those locations specified in statute 101.657 and the building in which early voting occurs.
Very quick, I apologize here. Go back to section 102.031, subsection 5. Could you read off where photography is prohibited?
Subsection 5, no photography is permitted in the polling room or early voting area.
And when you were present on October 27th, was there a traditional 100-foot barrier sign that said, no solicitations or any other activities, political activities within the polling area?
I don't recall exactly if there, I thought there was, I don't remember if there was a sign. I know the supervisor of elections, Deputy Campbell, spoke to him, and he did advise us that there was a 100-foot barrier.
Okay. Hold it. Well, this is October 26th. That's okay. Thank you. I have no more questions.
Okay, the witness is excused. Call your next witness.
I have, our next witness unfortunately was sick. I have another video, which is also included on the Deposit Exhibit 1.
Before you start that, counsel, you want to lay some foundation?
Yes. Let me make sure I have it here. I have a video, a citizen video that was recorded on October 27th. A citizen filming Mr. McGuire while he was at the location. Corporal Lytle did not take the testimony, but Deputy Campbell, who could not be present today. I do have a copy of the statement, an audio statement from Deputy Campbell of Mrs. Russell's statement.
And is this on Exhibit 1?
This is on Exhibit 1. Do you have any objection?
I would object to that the witness isn't here, sir. I can't cross-examine a video or a recording.
Counsel?
This is a quasi-judicial proceeding. The rules of strict evidence do not apply. The video speaks for itself.
And what is the rule with respect to, which I think is what his objection is, hearsay in the quasi-judicial proceeding?
There is no rule against hearsay in quasi-judicial proceedings. There's no rule against hearsay even in administrative law courts under 120.
So long as?
I apologize, I don't.
So long as there is other evidence that is.
Well, there is two other pieces of evidence. I apologize. There is a statement from Caroline Russell. There is in the trespass order itself. There is the Deputy Corporal Blighter's statement, which describes the incident and the statement.
And if I understood you correctly, Counsel, you said this is another video of the same incident that we already saw that is in.
No, this is on the 27th.
This is on a different day.
This is on the date that Corporal Blighter was in attendance.
Sir, I would strongly object that I can't cross-examine the witnesses, that things of that nature. I mean, how can that possibly be fair to me?
Okay, I am going to note the objection, take it into consideration. Let's see what it is first.
I believe you will find that it's a statement against interest. It is a video of.
That would be an exception to the hearsay rule, and then we wouldn't have this issue at all. Let's see.
I hope you like being on camera too, because you have me on camera. On YouTube? Well, if I can get your name, which I'm sure the officers can provide it, I guess I'll sue you.
Sue you for what?
For not asking my permission to be on video. Excuse me? Uh-huh.
What is your damages?
What are you're videoing me without my consent?
Yeah, that's not illegal.
It's not illegal? And if you put it on social media, it's very illegal. That's social media. All right, well, what is your name? What is your YouTube channel? They call you Chicken Man. All right, well, sir, I don't know what your reasons are. I really don't. I'm here to vote today. I'm here to vote. So I'll make sure to tell the sheriff that you are videoing me and without my consent. I'm pretty sure with your attitude, it's really sad that, oh, I'm ignorant. You know that one? I'm ignorant. All right.
It's going to be funny when that cop tells you it's public and there's no expectation of privacy.
There's no expectation of privacy. Okay.
That's correct.
Well, no, you can't.
Yes, I can.
And
Right now.
all right, well, I'll take care of it on my end. Have a good day. I hope you enjoy your videoing.
The next item I would like to play, if there's no objection, is the statement of Ms. Caroline Russell.
No, I would object once again, sir. If she's not here to be cross-examined, here we are.
If I understand your objection, sir, it's to the hearsay nature of the video. Is that correct?
Well, this would be a...
I'm objecting in general that I can't cross-examine all these witnesses that he's telling me are against me, and they're giving evidence against me.
Okay, so the purpose of the hearsay rule is to allow cross-examination because there's no other independent way of verifying the truth of the matter asserted by the witness who is testifying or the evidence being presented. Do you have a specific objection with respect to the authenticity, accuracy of the video?
I mean, I would like to ask her, if she was the one who filmed it, those kind of things. So yeah, I guess I would have an issue with the authenticity.
You have a hearsay objection.
I would...
There's no way to verify this person, you know what I mean? Sir, I mean...
I do not have a copy with me, but on the appellant's own website, he has the video from the other direction.
Are you going to be calling him?
No.
Okay. I will reserve a ruling on this one. Let's see what
time is 11:31 a.m. The statement reference case number 1810-0145540. Location that's interviewed is the Mid-County branch of the Charlotte County Library. I'm Madam Campbell, Deputy Sheriff, Charlotte County, Florida. The person being interviewed is Carolina Russell. Date of birth is 12/29/1967. Current address is 20281. How do you say that?
Zeta.
Zeta Avenue, Port Charlotte. Ms. Russell, you're under the influence of drugs and or alcohol?
No.
Okay, do you know the meaning of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm explaining anyway. Perjury
Okay.
can be committed by telling lies or omitting or leaving information out while under oath. Perjury is a crime in the state of Florida. You understand what I'm saying
Yes.
about perjury? Prior to taking this sworn statement, I'll place you under oath. Please raise your right hand. You swear affirm the statement you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God, yes.
Okay. All right, Ms. Russell, why don't you tell me about the incident you had outside on your way into the boat?
When I pulled up, obviously, I noticed that the camera, some guy with a camera was getting in one of the sheriff's faces. I mean, literally, like, up to his face. And the sheriff would walk away and he would follow the sheriff and still with the camera in his face. And I went to the deputy at the door. I'm like, is it safe to come in? You know, I don't know what's going on because, you know, there's a high presence of officers here and this guy, you know, is like getting in his face and everything. He's like, it's safe to vote. So then suddenly this guy now has his camera on me and I was like, I'm not giving you permission, you know, do not video me. I told him, do not video me. I'm not giving you consent. And he's like, well, this is a public place. I can video you and I can, it's going to go on YouTube. So then I took out my phone and I videoed him, videoing me so that I can present it to the sheriffs that I felt like I was being harassed.
Okay. Did you tell the subject that you were here to vote?
Yes, he asked me, why are you here? I'm like, I'm here to vote.
And what did he say after that?
I have the video.
Okay.
I don't remember word for word. I just remember little details, but I have the video.
He said something back to you after you told him that?
I don't remember exactly, but it's on the video.
Okay.
Oh, and he called me ignorant for voting.
Thank you so much.
Have we discussed anything off tape that we've not discussed on tape?
No.
Is there anything we should add, change, or delete about what happened?
No.
Okay. Have we discussed anything off tape that we've not discussed on the tape?
No, we discussed everything.
This concludes the statement. The time is 11:34.
Do you want me to sit?
Okay, counsel, this is a little troubling. Why is this witness not here?
This witness, I did not have contact information for the witness herself. The deputy who would testify was unable to arrive because he was sick. The evidence is being admitted for the purpose of showing what you cannot see on the cameras, which are the presence of the police officers in response to the appellant and how that has created disruption for the general public coming into the location. Corporal liable to testify to the same thing. So I don't have an objection if the evidence is removed, but I thought it would be more expansive to hear it from a different perspective.
All right. So just so we have perfect clarity for the record here, it is being offered for what we heard going on around her, not for the truth of the matter being asserted by the witness.
Correct.
Okay. For that limited purpose only, it will be admitted, not for the truth of the matter of what that woman said, who is not here and cannot be cross-examined. And there is a limited hearsay exception in quasi-judicial proceedings, but it's just not, that's just not fair. So.
Thank you, the county rests.
Thank you, Counsel. Nice job. Mr. McGuire.
Well, I guess I have some closing statements, really, that'd be all I have.
Okay. You're not going to put on any evidence?
I'm not showing any videos or anything here.
Okay.
I did a decent job with
You
that.
have the opportunity to testify under oath and have me consider anything you have to say as evidence. What you say to me just sitting there not under oath is maybe persuasive in reason, but it's not.
I have to put myself under oath to give a closing statement?
No, you can just give a closing statement and not put on any evidence if you so choose. I just want to make it clear that you have the opportunity to be put under oath and provide evidence based on what you saw, what you heard,
I'm not sure I could provide any more evidence on what's already been demonstrated. I mean, I went to a public place, several people confronted me, stopped what they were doing, blocked doors, did things, and they were the ones creating the disruptive behavior. I simply exercising a constitutional right. I'm very sorry that the county, is upset that the members of the public are so ignorant.
Okay. It sounds like you're in closing statement. I'll let you say all that. I just want to get it clear on the record.
That's really all I got, man. I already told you that.
Sir, if you please just let me do my job. You're saying clearly on the record that you are calling no witnesses and arresting. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You may make your closing statement now.
Okay. This seems to me that this has more to do with anger being directed at me. As you can clearly see how they confused Mr. Sheets for being Mr. McGuire, called the police, trespassed Mr. Sheets, then they rescinded the trespass, made sure that Corporal Lytle came to serve another one on me so I can't go there. These people approached me, yelled at me, told me the woman's filming me, telling me not to film her, telling me she's going to sue me, all these things. It's the public's, I couldn't make it any more clear than what I told the deputy. The public's ignorance is not my fault. It's because I want to come to a public place. I did not enter the polling room. I did not go in there. I did not observe people voting, casting ballots. I merely sat in the hallway of a public access, which is a library. If number like 11 is going to be interpreted like it is here, that the entire building is the voting.
Sorry, sir. It's number. If you could point me to what it is that you're referring to.
It's this page you gave me 204. Let me see.
I apologize. That's the rebuttal.
Chapter 97.
Okay.
Number 11 says here. Do you want me to read it to you?
Please.
It says number 11. Early voting site means location specified in S101-657 in the building in which early voting occurs. So I guess if that's to be interpreted literally, that would be the entire library. No one could go in there, take pictures, record. I'm not sure how reasonable you would find that. I'm saying probably not very. It's just ludicrous. The only disturbance that was created there was by the individuals that were recorded. I did not go, I did not threaten people, I did not curse people out, I did not block entrances, I did not go into the polling area. There's nothing more I could really say. Just because I want to exercise the constitutional right, the members of the public are angry about it. That should not be held against me.
Anything else, sir?
That's it.
Your Honor, there is a significant government interest in providing for efficient operation of government functions to allow the public to conduct business and obtain services free of disruption. While the exterior of the county's library may constitute a traditional public forum, those lobbies, hallways, and polling rooms and areas which are designated polling places, public access is limited to the conduct of public business such as checking out votes or voting, and is not a public forum for First Amendment purposes. The polling area was the entirety of the hallway, although I understand, and the statute could be read to say the entire building, the entire hallway from the 100-foot no solicitation sign at the front of the building down to the polling room itself was a prohibited area. Mr. McGuire's recording speaks for itself, and it shows that Mr. McGuire acted in violation of the county facility rules, specifically rule number 1 in violation of the Florida Election Code. We also believe that the burden has been met with regards to Rule 6, Rule 9, and 14, as well as Section 102.031 of the Florida Elections Code. Mr. McGuire violated those rules. Those rules are reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions, even if there was a constitutional right. If he believes that there is a First Amendment issue here, that he has other appellate opportunities to take that case up. But as far as for Ordinance 26-016, 027, we believe that our burden has been met, and we ask you to uphold the trespass order.
Let me just ask you one question, Counsel. I understand that I do not have the authority to rule on constitutional issues, but is it not the case that I am required to read county ordinances as though they are constitutional and reconcile them if I can with the Constitution in making my determination here today?
It is, and there is a substantial body of case law with regards to traditional and non-traditional forms. The public forum doctrine itself indicates, and I can give you the case citation, but the doctrine indicates that a public property owner has no less rights than a private property owner. In certain situations where there is a spectrum of rights, from the courthouse steps, right-of-ways, and areas that are traditional public forums versus the other side, military bases, jails, courtrooms, public bathrooms, there's a range, and this situation is another one of those limited public properties, but limited forum. If there was a public meeting occurring at the library, then that would be a limited public forum where public comment could be taken, videos could be taken, other First Amendment expression rights could be implemented. This situation is a statutory obligation to limit access for the limited purpose of voting. The appellant violated that. He was ordered to leave. He was instructed of the regulations. He is aware of the facility regulations. He continued to do so intentionally otherwise, and we're asking for that order to be upheld.
Mr. McGuire, I presume you understand that voting is the most sacred of our rights.
And that's why I intended to document it in the public interest. And to make sure that the people that are in charge of it don't turn around and try and violate other people's rights, like myself. If I had been simply just left alone to record, there would have been no disruption, sir. The poll workers and the members of the public that came there chose to make those disruptions, chose to call police, chose to yell at me, chose to film me and tell me I'm going to be sued. I don't understand what they're alleging I did besides simply exercise First Amendment protected activity as a member of the press and post it on my YouTube channel. You know, I would have loved to just have a video showing people going in, coming out, voting. Unfortunately, that's not what I've recorded there because of other people's actions.
There are two phases to these hearings. There are a number of evidentiary rulings that I have reserved on that I'll have to take a closer look at, so I'm not prepared to rule, but I would like to hear briefly from both of you with respect to the remedy that you are seeking. I think I know yours, Mr. Navarro, which is that I rescind the trespass order. Is that correct?
It is correct, and it's in the sense that voting is already over. So I'm not sure how keeping me away from the library, from filming, is in the government's interest when there's no longer voting going on. That might fly if they were still down there doing early voting. So maybe in 2 years we can have this conversation again.
Anything else?
That's it, sir.
Thank you, sir.
With respect to the very last comment, voting is over. The facility is being used as a library at this point, but the violation was of the county facility rules. And Mr. McGuire has repeatedly been in violation of county rules in other locations.
That's kind of like hearsay, Your Honor.
We're not in the evidentiary portion of the hearing.
Sir, the fundamental rule for these proceedings is that we do not interrupt each other. Please, go ahead, Counsel.
If there had been a children's reading program going on that only occurs once in a year, and the appellant had violated the facility rules on that day, would we say that he can only not be allowed into the facility when that one-time occurrence occurs? No. The violation was of the county facility rules. This is the county facility. We ask for no more than 1 year trespass authority.
Okay, let me ask you about that, because in reading the ordinance, there were various criteria concerning the issuance of the ordinance, and I'm aware of the criteria in Chapter 162 with respect to remedies. But I'm not sure what my authority is with respect to the time of trespass. I'm aware of an 11th Circuit case that gives me a bit of pause. read that into the record. That is Brown versus City of Jacksonville, which is decided February 16th, and it's a Lexus citation that I have, 2006, U.S. District Court, Lexus 8162, that concerns barring a person, a little different, barring a person from commission meetings for 7 cycles for disrupting a commission meeting in the court. Did not think that that met the strict scrutiny standards, but that was a public forum. And I read the ordinance. It didn't look to me as though I had a whole lot of discretion. Maybe you could counsel me. Counsel.
On page 3 of the ordinance, page 3 as well, the time period for the trespass is 1 year. It does not appear to have any other remedies involved. However, there is a relief provision as well at the beginning of page 4 at the top, following that 1 year exclusion, which is if there is no other reasonable alternative location to conduct the necessary business or exercise First Amendment rights within the 1 year period, the respondent can call the county security coordinator who will arrange for temporary access.
Okay. And I presume that you are asking for that.
That is a right that he has already under the
okay. Yeah,
Sir, I'd like to interject here for a second. He's already made it clear to me that checking out a book and using the library facility would not apply to me with the trespass. The, sorry, what's his name, Tom Scott, something like that, the security coordinator, he said that's for good citizens, and I have that on videotape.
Okay.
So what the county's asking is a blanket denial of me being able to go to the library, use it, check out a book, rent a movie.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
That's it. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to call him and arrange something to go down there and use the facility for temporary access.
Okay. Well, it's an interesting question. It was a polling place, and it's also a library, and it's always a county facility. And the business of the legislature, this is mostly for the record, any legislature telling the judiciary that it can only impose a specific period of time for a penalty is very, very troublesome and constitutionally suspect. But in its infinite wisdom, this is what the legislature has done. I'm not really sure that I have the authority to thwart the voters' elected representatives in passing this. So I'm probably going to have to follow what's in the ordinance, and I don't know what else I can do under the circumstances. If they're in their, as is said, in their infinite wisdom, they chose to do this. My job is solely to apply the law, not make it. I will reserve ruling because there are a number of issues that I have to make a determination of, and unless someone has something else, we will adjourn. Anything?
Yes, I understand they rescinded the trespass for the administration complex and canceled the hearing.
Yeah.
Can we move the, what is it, the 4 o'clock one up some so we can, you know?
Yeah, so let's adjourn this hearing and we'll talk about that, okay? All right, so this hearing is adjourned. Now let's go on the record with respect to hearing number 2. It's my understanding that hearing number 2, which was previously scheduled at 2 o'clock, which was a hearing with respect to a notice of trespass. It was case Ian McGuire, well, it doesn't matter because I think it's gone, but Ian McGuire, petitioner versus Charlotte County concerning trespassing has been rescinded, and there's nothing more for me to do on that as a result. Are you aware of that?
Yes, the rescinding was at my recommendation.
Very good. All right, so then that will be the end of hearing number 2. Hearing number 3 was supposed to take place at 3 o'clock. Unless there's some objection, I'd like to just have it now, but I think that maybe we've all been sitting here and we could get a drink and wash our hands. Unless,
my witness was not intending to arrive until 3 o'clock. If we take a brief break, I will attempt to...
I would object to a recess then, Your Honor. I would like to go ahead now.
the hearing is at 3, so unless there is unanimous agreement that we're going to have it early.
If I can bring my witness in earlier, then we can move forward immediately.
Okay.
But it will take some time to get here.
So
and I could probably begin. I can probably begin my case without her being present.
What I'm going to ask them is if you gentlemen could notify one of the courtroom officers when we're ready to proceed, and if I do not hear that we're ready to proceed, we will reconvene at 3 o'clock. Stand adjourned.
So tell one of the cops in here that we're ready, basically?
Yes, sir.
Okay.